All right, guys. Uncovering the Truth with the Real Kurt Thrash, back for another episode. And why do I have Uncovering the Truth with the Real Kurt Thrash like I'm somebody? Well, in my little town, with some of the stuff I told you in the overall that's going on and trying to frame me, they got people opening accounts as me, starting fights with people, trying to disparage my character, make me look bad. Why? Discredit. Kill their voice before they even get started. These are things that people need to wake up to that's going on in the world, and it's been done for so long it's not even funny. People laugh at things I even did myself. If you would have told me that I'd be doing this right now, I would have said you're crazy. If I would have heard what I spoke yesterday a couple of years ago from somebody, I'd be like, he needs help. That's the way they want you to think. You got a clear example in the UFO thing. I mean, they denied it for years. How many lives were ruined? People come out trying to speak the truth, and they discredited them, made them look like drug addicts, crazy, alcoholics, whatever they could to discredit them. And when they're the one with the only big voice, it works pretty well. It works pretty well. And, why would the government do all this? I'm not saying, let's be clear, guys, I'm not saying Donald Trump and the government and everybody with power is evil. No, 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 no. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying people that's got money are evil. That's not what I'm saying. There's nothing wrong with having money and wealth. What I'm saying is there's an organized group of people who are trying to control things that do have power and do have money. They're very organized. So us on the other side that, love God, love our country, want things good for everybody, we need to start getting organized to fight back. Because if we don't, we're going to find ourselves living, and we already don't recognize a lot of things in our country. We're not going to recognize anything. This has nothing to do with race, sexism, what you choose sexually. It has nothing to do with that. I believe in freedom. I don't believe in running people down. But we're dealing with people who do believe in running people down. If you do not agree with what they have to say and their thinking, yeah, they're going to run you down however they got to. Well, with me, I'm nobody. But you ain't running me down, you're going to get a fight. I don't care about losing. And if the fight's worth it, I don't care about losing my life. And I do value my life. I love myself. I can assure you that. But I don't value my life over so I can do anything to anybody to get what I want. No. I can't live with myself and do things like that. Lay down and go to sleep at night. The startling thing to me is how many people can. Is unfortunately I've learned. But, a lot of times with things like them tracking people for whatever the reasons are, it's not necessarily always the politicians that are involved. It's people, career people, military. Why? For advancements, medical, weaponry, whatever. And I understand that. But there needs to be more oversight, because you have these people targeting you, illegally surveillancing you, and all these things. They can do whatever they want to. And somebody gets a hold of running programs like that is evil, or let's just say, for instance, I love God, I'm a Christian, they're a Satanist, or they don't believe in God. Well, we're going to get in meetings with a guy, I can hear him right now. We're going to show this guy. We're going to destroy him and sit around and laugh about it. People don't think things like that are real. Unfortunately, they are. Unfortunately, they are. There needs to be a lot more oversight. Too much corruption. Corruption's a thing that's always been around every government, every empire. But every empire, most empires that have fallen, fell from the inside way before they were defeated militarily. Or, by somebody else, another power. Because of greed, power, everybody wanting power. As the old saying goes, oh, please don't take this, the old saying, too many chiefs and not enough Indians. Please do not take that as a racial statement. I actually have Indian on both sides of my family, Cherokee, and maybe even a little Creek, a little bit more than what you would think, or what I always would have thought until I looked into it. But getting back to the point, also, why would they go into the trouble of framing little old me? Well, if they believe you have something to say, and here's another key why they track higher vibrational beings that I know, is because they have a harder time manipulating with mind control. And they come out with subliminal messaging telling you all that in school. Everybody learns about it, but they got a lot more sophisticated techniques, obviously, than they let on. Just like weaponry and stuff, the stuff they let you see is stuff that they've just released that they've had actually for a long time. Perfect example, SR-71 spy plane. People saw that when I was a kid, and oh, that's so cool. That they've been flying that since the 60s. Since the late 60s, the SR-71. It was about to be retired as far as the main spy plane. That's just an example. And guys, here we're going to deal with a lot of topics that are very real, but you will never hear me accuse anybody or say anything that I don't know to be truth. If I have an opinion, I'm saying it's an opinion, I'll tell you it's an opinion. I'm not about trying to bury people and like even bringing that out about my ex-wife or whatever. The only reason I'm doing that is because she's trying to bury me in public. Now, she's doing it is going around building relationships with powerful people, giving them things to listen to her, to give her what she wants. And the one thing she wants more than anything right now is to bury me. Well, why? To discredit me from the things I have found out from talking about it. Discredit me, make me look crazy, make me look like I'm on drugs, which from, everybody around town is talking about how she's on drugs. I don't know that. I'm not saying that. I hope to God she's not, but she's done some really crazy things I wouldn't have thought she would have done, but that's neither here nor there. And deep down in her heart, she is a good person. I don't know if she believes in what she's doing, I guess. So, I believe in serving the government, loving them too, but just because the majority of people believe something and powerful people believe something doesn't make it true. Doesn't make it true. And that's where you get into trouble all throughout history. And an example I give you, a famous one, Jesus Christ. They wanted him dead. They were chanting, crucify him, crucify him. They were ready to let the criminal go, the thief, Barabbas. And I'm glad they did let him go. They should have let both of them go. There shouldn't have been anything. But they took a man who had done nothing but good, miracles, loved people, didn't use that power to hurt one person. And because they didn't like what he had to say, and the powerful people were scared of the power that he had, and that they were losing authority without him even trying to make them lose authority. They wanted him dead. They wanted him dead. They got him too. Of course, as I believe, and I know in my heart, but I believe, as you would call an opinion, is it was meant to be that way. God knew it was going to be that way because that was God in the flesh. He let us see first couple of 1,000 years as humans, as we know humans, this time frame. Couldn't do it on our own, couldn't live good enough, couldn't live well enough, because that's how people are. Oh, I don't need your help. Why can't we do it this way? So he let us see that none of us, me including myself, I'm nothing but a low sinner, can do it on our own. We need his help. We needed his sacrifice, and there was no other way. If he wouldn't have gave that sacrifice, none of us have grace and redemption, because we're all sinners. You cannot live good enough. That's what I believe. And this way, or the way I believe, is constantly praying and dwelling on God's way, looking for God. Why wouldn't you do that if you call God? God is the most important thing in your life. Why wouldn't he be in your thoughts every day? I want everything you do and bringing him in and praying to him about what you want to do, what your plans are, how he would like you to do it, and obviously asking for forgiveness of your sins constantly, according to his will. But getting more to the other point, clearing up why my wife wants to discredit me, is there's another factor that came involved that I'm still trying to find out with my own family, so I have to be very careful. Somebody died that had a will, had a great deal of money and property. And this person, for whatever reason, is being kept from me. My whole family, unfortunately, did not leave anything to anybody else but me. And I don't know why, but certain people in my family. I don't know who. I'm not saying my mama, my daddy, my sister, my immediate family. But people in my family got along with my ex. And they decided, she intercepted this letter. She intercepted it years back now, I want to say 2021, 2020, somewhere around in there. That was part of the reason they did what they did in March of 2020, having me drugged. Her and her lover, my cousin. And I know that for a fact because it brought it to memory. The traumatic recall, or as I call it, revelation from God, come back to me, oh, that happened. I wish it wouldn't have. Something I have to live with for the rest of my life. I wish it would not have. You don't know how many nights I cried. You don't know, but I'm not a victim. I got victimized in that instant. I'm not a victim. And I believe God will give me justice for what they've done. You say, Kurt, why hadn't you went to the police about it? Well, therein again, with the money, money unfortunately can cover up a lot of things. They took this money, divvied it up, moved it from other accounts, even the bank people involved in it. Still trying to figure out and find out. I've went and asked at the courthouse, is there anything, I might not have gave the right wording. Is there a court case? Timothy Kurt Thrasher in probate court. And I was told no. But obviously you could question him. I'd say, well, that day there wasn't, or whatever. But they got people in the courthouse too. She actually had a family member as a court clerk, a long-term employee. One of the oldest tenured there in that position. I think she's still working. Probably kept working. Because my ex-wife said, hey, it's some money coming in. If you'll do this, and she got family, I'm sure I can leave them well off. They all going to divvy up this money and property. And my wife, unbeknownst to me, and my cousin are part of a cult group, secret society. Some of, I believe to be Masonic branches of it. Now, am I saying everybody in secret societies are evil? No. But I believe people join things. They might be in the outer edges, not in the inner circle. But in a lot of these inner circle groups and these big organizations like that, oh, they love that power. And they do some very sinister things with that power they have. with all the money, membership dues, and all these things and these oaths where they make you swear allegiance to this thing, just like organized crime, above everything, above God, above yourself, above your individual family, your kids. This thing comes first. And they justify it in their head because this is going to give me a good life and help the people I love. Well, if you destroy other people's lives, we got to start standing up, people. Because if you don't stand up, yeah, I tried to be nice to a lot of people when I was younger. Oh, he's too forceful, And I had an ex, and I've never, unfortunately, been very good with women, which is very tragic because I love women very much. But that's something I have to come to a realization of truth years ago. And I tried to be. My ex-wife knows, though, I treated her good as gold. But she wanted money, and she couldn't handle money. Always in debt and never paying it. Robbing Peter to pay Paul. Getting herself in more trouble. And as I briefly said, I believe yesterday, a loan shark come to our house. And this is in 2015 when our daughter was 2. The man did not come to the door. He stayed at the car. He was a bigger guy, but yeah, I was right there ready. 2-year-old daughter. I held her, and my wife went out to talk to 2 women right here on the porch. And then she could tell I was listening, so they walked off the porch down to the concrete. The guy stayed out in the car. Didn't look this way. He didn't do anything ugly, but I knew what they were. They were loan sharks. They were coming for money. That much I heard, but, trying to ask her questions about it. She's an avoidant, covert narcissist. Oh, yes. Because I've studied these things through the years many times with her because I loved her unconditionally, but she would go in cycles, love bombing, and then push you away. Whenever she had you reeled in, loving her like the way she wanted to, giving her everything she wanted, she pulled back and gave to other people. And then I'd be ready to leave and then love bomb me again. That's how people like that work. But like I said, this money, and apparently she was drawing payments and putting in another account for a few years. She was taking out mine. And apparently whoever this was that died had a business too, and was putting my name, and they're running it. And not only that, to cover, also to cover things up. Their big thing was to get me arrested. One of the first things. Have him framed for whatever. I don't know how many reports, false reports, my wife, probably ex-wife, has went up there. Some people would say she's still my wife because it ain't finalized because she ducks the lawyer. She don't want to. She thinks there might be having more money coming in for me, and she wants to be attached to anything else I still get. But it's supposed to have been finalized, and she didn't want me to see our child, which unfortunately I found out, even though she looks a lot like me, might not be my biological child, but I love her more than anything. She is my daughter as far as I'm concerned. To the day I die, I would let somebody cut my throat to save that child's life. Very disturbed about not getting to see her, and her turning her against me, putting all these things in her head. And me and her had the greatest relationship in the world. The child smiled all the time, happy-go-lucky child. In the last 2 years or so, I think my wife started preparing her to do what she was going to do. And daughter, very bad attitude, very angry. It's heartbreaking, but there's nothing I can do because she's our mother, and we automatically just give the mother whatever unless we can prove, without a doubt that she's, terrible mother. And that's tragic too, because a lot of kids go through a lot of traumatic things before they're taken out of a terrible environment. But that is the biggest heartbreaking thing with my whole situation and why I've started this channel. But I'm determined to have a voice. And then to move into all topics of truth where it's covered up. And I'm searching out more details, and I'm hoping that anybody that would see this that believes in love, truth, and fairness for our country and making things right will take a look into this. You're a politician. I love our government support, our government. I think Donald Trump is a good president. You know, he does the best he can. I believe he's open and honest as much as possible. Nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect. Well-intentioned means a lot. But that has to be shown by action, not just words. Words are easy. Without action, it means nothing. It means nothing. But they tried to pin first domestic violence. She was raging. I knew something was bad wrong last year where we got it. Constantly trying to rage bait me. Wanting to fuss with me. I try to hug her and she'd push away, turn away. You know, constantly just doing whatever she could to nitpick, angry, or, you know, cutting her eyes at me, being smart, trying to, you know, make light of what I believe. And as it turned out, I don't know if she even believes in God and Jesus Christ, the things she's into. You know, and she goes to church, makes those appearances because that's what she cares about. Her ambitions are great too, but she just wants to be something great in other people's eyes. Talk about being a spiritual leader, and part of what they were doing, sacrifices, whether you want to believe it or not, destiny swapping, you know, rituals to take other people's vitality. This is the same stuff out there in Hollywood with Diddy and them parties and stuff. Oh, yeah. And setting people up and doing these things, filming them. You know, doing things to people and filming them. People don't, I would have never believed that people I knew were into these kind of types of things. And it's here. And I believe maybe they've hurt other people. You know, people call it glamour magic, making people forget. I don't know about all that, but I know there's mind control techniques. And there's drugs where you can make people forget. How she would get access to all that, I don't know. I have to be honest. But what I do know is she's into that, and that's what happened to me. I can remember some things have come back to me since then, and I'm trying to remember faces. I can remember, I guess they all thought I was weak. These are big, large group of people where if they took me around. One of these times, I think they tried to do rituals over me more than once. But that particular time that night, I don't know if this is this, and that's what I've been trying to put together. I briefly come to, looked around, saw the faces, and was like, y'all are all in on this or something like that. And I'm trying to remember their faces. Because yes, y'all can come after me, hurt me, and kill me. I'm not backing down. Oh, no. No. Oh, I can lose a fight. I can die. Yeah. But what I'm doing, I know is right and just. And I'm doing it for God first. For myself second. And everybody else in this. I know it matters. This is part of my life's purpose. I know it. Because you know something when it feels right. But I'm hoping other people, like I said, politicians, and them will take heed of this and look into this more and press. Because as of now, I wonder, you know, I think some of the people she was fooling with were police officers. Oh, yeah. And police officers are friendly with other police officers. They'll cover things up. I hope and pray. Like I said, that's a theory. But I know there's a certain amount of truth to it. Because she had to hook up with a cop and his wife. Yeah. That kind of thing. Secretly. With her secret Tinder accounts and all that stuff. And people, oh, you don't have proof. She wasn't even gone a week. or two. Of course, she took it down immediately, which she could have got, but it's the proof of it's there. She was doing OnlyFans. She was supposed to be a married woman. Hadn't even filed for divorce yet, I don't believe. Or it was right after. But, yeah, OnlyFans. So, you know, there's proof and truth of a lot of this. What else did she do to discredit me? Well, she's took out loans in my name, tried to commit other crimes using my name. I've had my ID stolen, my wallet stolen. And unfortunately, that wallet come up missing while I was at home with my immediate family and then showed back up. And oh, well, you lose things all the time. Through the years, I thought maybe forgetfulness. But people doing things to you, making your health bad. And then that wallet comes back up missing a place you tore apart because I knew it wasn't lost. But I tore everything apart because I knew what was going to be told to me. And that was put somewhere where searched 1,000,000 times over and made sure I did because if it showed back up. But the reason it showed back up is because I started, accusing because I knew what had happened. And they think you just keep playing mind games with me instead of giving me the truth. People I love, people I trusted. Like with her with this money, she could have, they know I'm generous. I would have been happy to give her a good portion of a divorce. She wouldn't be going through the things that she's going through. Because I know police are looking at her because he done a lot of crime. Took credit cards out my name because I tried to run a credit report. And a friend who I was talking to said, I ain't never seen this. Couldn't pull up anything with the credit report period stuff at all because probably it's under investigation, so much confusion. Couldn't even get a credit score or anything because they're probably looking into it. But took out a PPP loan. You have to be connected to the military to do that. She's supposed to never been involved in the military. But narcissists, as they say, always drop, hints of what they're doing because they think they're so clever. And she would always talk about how much she loved the military. And if she wouldn't have been with me, she was going to be a military nurse. And that was going to be her career. And I believe in the military. They protect us. They do. Love them guys. Tough men and women. And loyal men and women. So all the way up to the top. Please don't think I'm disparaging on the military at all. Because I'm not. I'm saying, though, we need oversight. Because programs like what has got me targeted could happen to anybody. And I know there's others like me out there that have been targeted. And trying to research, I'd never done this before, but in trying to research and figure out what was going on, I started looking at some of the occult things, tarot readings and stuff. And some of those people are going through it. Being gang stalked. And before she left, she was trying to make me look crazy. Some of my old friends that I lost contact because she was doing her best to isolate me. So I know some of them she slept with, some of them she gave money, some of them she promised money. I know this now. And to come against me, but they were in the woods gang stalking. Because I live out in the woods, as you can see behind me there. Nothing but like that around my house. Nothing but woods around my house. And please do not think I'm accusing my mom and dad or even my sister, but what I'm saying is facts. That there have been other people in my home where I was residing that while, yes, but only a few. And I'm not going to name any names. They involved a lot of people. And people will do, unfortunately, a lot of things for a lot of money. And I believe, like I said, my ex-wife was telling people all kinds of horrible things. I know she was. Because I had a friend tell me, my wife, like I said, cancer, she has seizures. She'd fall out. I'm talking about grandma seizures. She liked to smoke. She stayed because we didn't let her smoke in the house. But I started telling her to smoke in the house set in the floor or whatever in the basement so she wouldn't, because she would fall and be seizures and bust her head. She broke her orbital bone in her face in 2018. And I didn't do social media. I always let her, unfortunately, I did some stupid things. She always wanted to deal with the money stuff. I let her. Trying to have trust and show her that I believed in her. Just like the thing she said, oh, he's weak. I shown her my vulnerability, giving myself completely to her. She used that against me to make fun of me or whatever. And I'm sure she embellished it, whatever more, because like what I was fixing to say with a broken face, she was low key making it look like that I'd done it to her, not telling people. Because I really didn't. I didn't keep a cell phone with me until 2015. And I'm on it, it seems like all the time now, doing research or whatever. But because technology is a good thing, but it can be a really bad thing too. We got to make sure we're using it for the right reasons. And I'm talking to myself as well. But, they also tried to make me, like I said, look financial fraud. I'm not capable of it. I'm not sophisticated enough because I don't have not that I probably couldn't be capable, but I never thought about doing things like that, looked into things like that. I wouldn't know the first idea how to do some of the things that they're trying to frame me for. But there has to be camera footage of them going into these banks and these establishments. But they've stolen things. She stole things from my home, knives, took clothes, and partly clothes for the rituals and stuff they did. I would have thought it was crazy too, like I said. I wish somebody would look into it. I pray that you are. I pray that you are. Because if it can happen to me, it can happen to anybody. It's so bad that these certain groups I hang around with, supposedly diseases going around claiming that I was the one that gave it to them. That's not true. I don't have any sexually transmitted disease. And for the last few years, I think that's one of the reasons she dumped on me. She thought I wasn't intimate enough with her. But I had my suspicions about her. And I wanted to be. But when you realize that somebody, and they're clever in a lot of ways, but you realize that they're doing things like that, you have to be really careful. You have to be really careful. If you care about yourself, you will be. I learned that a long time ago too. Sometimes it's better to play dumb, be that underdog, embrace it. You'll find out more. People get careless, especially narcissists. They think, they're the end all be all. They got all the connections, this, that, and the other, and they're the smartest, beautifulest. It's quite crazy. And being an empath can be very hard. Feeling what other people feel, sympathizing with them, because you can take that stuff inside sometimes yourself. Put you into depression, and a lot of other things. And it's sad because you're doing it for other people, but a lot of people, if you've never been educated on it, don't even realize it. Somebody who's a very empathetic person and loves people and a friend or somebody come to them, they empathize with them deeply. They feel what they feel, literally. So empath, you got to be careful. Narcissists, they don't feel really anything except for what they want and how they feel. And the world should revolve around that. That's how they think. It just is who they are. Now, they're good and slick at pretending like that's not the case. But obviously, you watch them deal with them long enough, you roll out the facts, it's quite clear who they are. But guys, I hope this has been a lot longer than what I thought as far as this video. I want to go deeper into these things and bring you more facts, but I do not want to bring anything that I know 100% is not a fact. And if I've made a mistake on anything that's proven to be a mistake, I'll be happy to get on here and say I am sorry. And I know they'll like to threaten these type of people. We're going to assume I don't have anything. You took it. Yeah. You with your planning, with your lawyer and getting people involved, even in the court. Been worried, even you got the judge who put me up. And that's another thing I'm trying to find out. Under a conservative, I think they call it a power of attorney. That I was sick and dying. They took out life insurance because she intended on killing me, I believe. Or hoping I would take my own life or whatever. To put me into the state, took out life insurance. And I think they collected on it. They come up with a way with the life insurance. The agent who gave it to them, the scheme, she's been doing all kinds of criminal things. She unfortunately used all that knowledge and all that intelligence to do those things. And do a lot of hidden things with a lot of hidden people. But like I told you yesterday, that connection has been proven to be too. Like I said, with the UFO thing, them covering up, government making people look crazy, 2020, government come out and admit it is real. Or whatever year it was. Well, just like the connection between some, parts of it. And am I saying the government as a whole? No. But if you have even one politician that's in with organized crime and the police is in or the authorities in that area, any law enforcement group, that's a tragedy with all kinds of evil that can be done. And like I said, with the JFK thing, it's proven that, that factions of an agency was in with, murdering President Kennedy. And officials knew about it, was in on it. That they had worked together in situations to overthrow Castro. There's more proof of that than anything else, obviously. But the CIA worked with organized crime because organized crime had gambling casinos in Cuba that they wanted back. A lot of money got confiscated from them when Fidel Castro took over Cuba. A lot of money. They were not happy about that, obviously. But I've even been told that my face has been out there having sex on videos with my wife. I didn't put that out there. I didn't agree to that. Yeah, there's a lot of things I didn't know about my ex-wife. That if I would have knew, and she knows that, wouldn't have had anything to do with it. And I do wish her the best. I hope and pray that she can change her life. Stop trying to destroy other people's to get what you want. Lying to a whole community. Making me out to be somebody that hurt you when she knows. And if you're out there watching, you know. That's the reason you can't look me in the eye. A few times we've come across each other. Ain't because you're scared of me. You're scared that I know the truth. And I can expose you. That's what you're scared of. And you know that. All the lies you made up having, but you've had contacts in these places. For years, I didn't realize that you was trying so bad to get in these groups, doing anything and everything, a lot, sexually. To have contacts of power because it makes you feel important. And guys, there's nothing wrong with power. you get it the right way and use it the right way. But it needs to be called out when it's not used the right way. I'm nobody's doormat. I'm not the toughest guy in the world, not the best fighter or whatever, but I have no problem with doing it. I have to lose, die. But they wanted to make me look crazy. She thought she could make me chase after her, like, and fight other guys and show how violent and crazy. I'm not crazy. When I first learned a lot of these things, it would have been easier to have been crazy. You wanted me to break mentally and hurt myself. What a peach you are. All right, guys, I hope to come out soon with another video. I'm hoping this cleared up some of the things I said in the overview video of why I'm doing this. I'm hoping and praying in my hometown of Rome, Georgia, where this is at, this stuff starts getting looked into closer. Things got to change. Too much. I mean, this is something that was willed to me, kept away from me, hidden. And so many people took money in on it that, from these little secret societies and organizations, do whatever, break whatever laws to cover each other, to cover things up. And I've been told, without lock people up for false reports, can't put her face on there. There was a black lady that was just arrested for making false reports. I don't know how many my ex-wives made on me. Obviously, in the very beginning, got a restraining order against me, which there was no reason for that. No reason whatsoever for that. She knows she's not in danger from me. It's quite the opposite. Quite the opposite. I think she was trying to get some of the people she was with to hurt me. And I think that's an opinion, but from what she would already have been doing when she left, not that hard. Not that hard to believe. All right, guys, have a good day.